Welcome back to another edition of the Night Report podcast. I'm your host, Mike Broadbent. Joining me once again are my co-hosts, Richie O'Leary and Alec Crowdhamel. Another day, another commitment for the Scarlet Knights, this time from a linebacker from Rice University. Ty Morris has committed to the Scarlet Knights after a visit. He will have 1 year of eligibility. He's been a multi-year starter at Rice. A commitment that will probably mean a new starter in the linebacker core. But before we get into his commitment and what that kind of means for the Scarlet Knights next season, I want to thank our sponsor, FanDuel. It's funny, I gave a bet out that I liked, and then the betting group I use gave out a similar bet. So that bet was Eagles money line and Rams money line. I gave out the Indiana money line as well to that. So that's the kind of bet I like this weekend. But Rich, let's talk about Ty Morris and how he ended up as a Scarlet Knight.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they need linebacker help. There's no secret about it. They hosted Isaiah Chisholm, or hosted, whatever. They hosted Ty Morris. They're expected to host a D2 linebacker, I believe, today or tomorrow. I forget, and Zach Bergman. So, yeah, I mean, that linebacker room lost Ariel Jabome. He is done. He is out of eligibility. I know a lot of people didn't know that, which was interesting, but he played all 12 games or 12 plus in 4 years, mostly special teams in his first couple years, but he could technically come back for that 5-for-5 eligibility thing if it happens, but he's not going to, even if that does happen, I was told. So need some linebacker help. I know the young guys are developing, but you need someone else that can help you. Ty Morris came to campus, enjoyed his visit quite a bit. I think he had visits to, who was it? Toledo and someone else. I can't remember who the other one was, but yeah, I mean, interesting kid, All-American Conference, 2 years in a row. I know people misconstrued it, my title, because it's not the American Athletic Conference anymore. It's just the American Conference. So I put All-American Conference linebacker, and people were like, whoa, he's an All-American. And it's like, no, he's not. But All-American Conference second team in 24, All-American Conference honorable mention in 25. Seems like he's a really good pass rusher. Seems like a solid tackler. There's some question marks here and there in some of his tape. Angles are a notable issue in some things, sometimes here and there, especially in the UConn game. That's the one I'm most familiar with just because I do double dip and do a little bit of UConn coverage here and there. But yeah, I mean, they needed a starter, and they need more than one starter probably because Abram Wright is still rehabbing. I know people were concerned about him leaving and concerned about Moses Walker potentially leaving because of this addition. I don't know about Moses Walker. I know he's not really, how do I put it? Like, he doesn't have his heart into football as much as you'd like. But he has been with Rutgers for a long time. I do expect him back, but he's coming off injury. You have Abram Wright, who also got injured late in the season, doing a little bit of rehab last night in the Hale Center. I know he was doing the underwater treadmill to kind of rehab that leg, whether it's a knee, whether it's a leg, whether it's something worse. We hope not, knock on wood. But yeah, I mean, interesting addition to say the least. I think he has tools you can work with, but I also think there's a lot of concerns as well.
And Alec, what did you see on tape from Ty Morris that impressed you?
Yeah, so apologies if the background noise is too much. I'm actually at Jersey Mike's Arena right now for the women's basketball game against Maryland. But yeah, kind of a lot of what Richie said. There's definitely something there athletic-wise, as you saw in some of the highlights that were on the screen just a minute ago. He's really solid as a blitzer when he's just going straight downhill. So I would expect, his best attribute is probably going to be as that kind of run defender. Now, kind of like Richie mentioned, there was also some potential questions on certain parts of his game with, the angles, the foot speed, things like that. But, I mean, he's gotten better as the years have gone on. So, I mean, I guess what you're banking on for Rutgers is that there's another step of development as he's come along as that multi-year starter. So, yeah, it's a pretty solid addition. I bet, like Richie said, a much-needed one as well to this linebacker room and this defense. Yeah, these are the kinds of additions that we're expecting Rutgers to make. Some of those late risers in the group of five level that can come up and potentially develop even further under a defensive staff that we still don't know yet. But yeah, that's probably what this role is going to be. Is kind of like a run defending guy who can operate in space at times as well. But yeah, I mean, we saw him as a blitzer, how good he was at getting to the quarterback over the last few years too. So maybe there's a little bit of that in there also.
Yeah, Rich, do you expect him to be a starting level player immediately for the Scarlet Knights?
Yeah, just because they don't have anyone else really. It's it's because those other two guys, like I said, are still injured. I don't know when they'll be back officially. Even when they're back, they still have to get back into the rhythm of things. It's not easy when you injure something, when you tear an ACL, when you do something else, especially knee injuries and ligaments. It's even when you're fully healthy. I can speak from experience. Like you're not fully healthy. Like you might feel like you are. I know a lot of the medicine I've read about in like terms of ACL stuff is a lot of times you get out there and you're like, oh, I'm good to go. Like I'm ready. Like I could do this right now. And then you get out there and you're like, oh, wait a second. Maybe I'm not fully healed. But it's almost like I don't even know what the word would be, but it kind of disguises you. It's like I can't think of the word. Damn, why can't I think of the word? It's like on the tip of my tongue. But this new medicine they do, the new way they repair ACLs, you almost feel like you're good to go, and then you're just not. So we have to wait and see what the injuries are exactly for Moses Walker and for Abram Wright. But between those two and them also not really being that good when they were healthy too, so that's also an issue. But I mean, the run defender type thing for Ty Morris that Alec was mentioning before gives me a little bit of hope because their run defense was abysmal. It was really bad. Now you can blame the interior defensive line for that. You can blame the linebackers. I don't blame the safeties as much because if they're getting that far already, it's like you're done. It doesn't really matter because they're already 10, 15 yards down the field. But yeah, I do think it's a solid addition. I do think he will probably come in and be like almost an automatic starter. But those young guys are going to push him too. I think DJ McClary and Kamar Archie, the unicorns, as some people at Rutgers like to call them, are going to play significant snaps regardless. Will they end up unseating him by the end of the season? I think there's potential for that. But it really depends on how they develop and who the new coaches are too. We don't know how they're going to develop under new coaches.
Yeah, and we got his stats up on the screen here, but for those who are just listening, he had a 68.2 grade this past season for Rice. That's 412th out of 778 qualifying linebackers. Run defense grade of 67.0, which was 550th, and a coverage grade of 67.4, which was 246 out of 737 linebackers. Just to give you an idea of his grades, he's listed at 6'2", 230 pounds, so has the size for a Big Ten linebacker, but 1 year of eligibility remaining. Definitely a position of need. You hope to kind of fill out those linebacker needs with Isaiah Chisholm, who's currently on campus, and Zach Berman, who starts his visit tomorrow. Ty Morris, definitely a piece that is much needed for this defense in terms of linebackers. Anything else you guys have on Ty Morris?
I don't think Ty Morris, more so, he does have a redshirt year technically. Now, in an ideal world, you're not using that. But in some hypothetical scenario where he's not ready, can work with him for a year and see what happens. But I do think he's probably the certified starter at this point just because the injuries to other guys, he's a good run defender, and we know that their run defense is awful, and there's just really not a lot of talent in that linebacker room at the moment. Now, you can argue talent maybe from a standpoint of the freshmen are going to be eventually good to go, but like you need bodies. Like you need someone that has veteran experience, someone that's done it before, someone that's, and this is no slight on him, but someone that's not Austin Dean via the transfer portal. So it is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. And I do think it's a solid addition. I don't think it's the addition that people want. I still think people want Chisholm. I think I personally, if I'm Rutgers, I want Chisholm too. And you get him, and then I feel a lot more comfortable about this linebacker room because then you have a solid linebacker in Chisholm. You have a solid linebacker in Morris. You'll have the two returning guys in Wright and Walker. Even if they're not healthy, they can get back up to speed pretty quick, or let them get back up to speed in the background. And then the two freshmen now, or redshirt, I should say sophomores now because they burnt their red shirts. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting defense to say the very least. It is portal recruiting is concerning. There's no way around it. Like I don't know what you guys would grade it so far, but I'd say maybe like a C- because like there's not really anyone that's committed that's really impressed me. Rondo Porter, I should say that has been pretty impressive. I think Davis is okay. I think DeWood is solid, but it's been meh at the very best.
Yeah. I'm not super impressed by any means. Alec, I'll let you take it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the tough part that, it feels like it's still a bit of a waiting game for a lot of, the other dominoes to fall. But it feels like Rutgers has certainly had its opportunities to make some big time additions. And we've talked about them a bunch. Some of those guys that they definitely had opportunities to go after, and those that wanted to end up at Rutgers, but simply, whether the staff didn't reach out, it just didn't work out. I mean, I think Dante Lovett, although, you know, some of that could also be financial related, but someone like Kim Chadwick as well. Um, there were certainly some opportunities. So the question is, where is that big fish going to come from? Where you get someone that really can be that primo number one starter in the Big Ten. Now that doesn't mean they're going to be an all Big Ten player, but just someone who can take over as that that top leader on the field in the defense. Where is that going to come from? Because you're losing a ton of your production from a defense that was already the worst in the FBS in terms of yards per play allowed. So in terms of personnel, I mean, there's not a whole lot of confidence that, as of right now, that they've improved a whole lot. But again, there's still time, so I'm not fully pressing the panic button just yet. But
Mm-hmm.
there needs to be, I feel like there needs to be some kind of big name addition that comes soon, or at least big name caliber addition that comes soon, because a lot of guys that they've gotten, they're really good supporting pieces. Like if they are, they're probably going to be on the two deep, most of them anyways. But I feel like if you can get a Big Ten caliber, Big Ten starting caliber, good Big Ten starting caliber player at some of these positions, you'll feel a lot better. But I'm not sure I see that right now. But again, there's still time, so we'll see how they operate over the next week and a half or so. Once the deadline comes to enter the portal, we'll see how the dust settles. But yeah, as of right now, I wouldn't blame anyone for being at the very least a little concerned.
Yeah, grade wise, I can't give them better than a C right now. Like, it's not that I don't think they've added anyone who can't help, but there's certainly no one that I've seen they've added that has been a for sure. Like, I am over the moon about this guy. Like, my favorite addition so far is Rondo Porter, and he's an undersized interior defensive lineman. I think he can be an effective impact player, but still, there is no one that, like, and I hate to frame it like this, but there's no one they've added that would be a for sure starter on the majority of Big Ten teams. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, 100% agree with you. There's not really like even these guys aren't even starters like on Rutgers for the most part. Like Rondo Porter is, but that's also because they have no defensive tackles.
Yep.
Malachi Davis is that's because they have no edge rushers, literally no edge rushers. They have Whitey Collier and RJ Johnson, who could be very good when it's all said and done, but they're redshirt freshmen. Like, what do you expect out of these guys? And you're expecting them to be edge rushers 3 and 4 potentially? That's concerning. You have no cornerbacks because you lost them all to the portal and graduation. So Dawood by default right now is cornerback 1, and this is no offense to the kid. I think he's solid. I don't think he's a cornerback 1 at all. I think he could be a solid cornerback 3, or I should say a solid cornerback 2 and a very good cornerback 3. But at the moment, you don't have cornerback 2 and you don't have cornerback 1. You don't have safety 2. You don't have linebacker 2. You don't have edge rusher 2. You don't have defensive tackle 2. There's just so many holes that it's like, I just thought they'd be a little bit more aggressive. And Mike, you could probably speak on this a little bit too, because you've been talking to people, and there's so many opportunities for them to go after very talented prospects, and they're not. They're deciding to go elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, the one example that's kind of unfortunate is there was a tight end who they were approached about, and they didn't have any interest in, and now he's probably going to end up at LSU for a lot of money in a bidding war, in which the Rutgers could have won for a lot less earlier in the offseason. It just feels like they don't really have a good finger on the pulse of kind of where things are right now, which is unfortunate. And I'm just concerned for a number of reasons. One being that they don't have a defensive staff who can give feedback and who players can have conversations with when they're either on campus or talking about possibilities of coming on campus, that you understand who you're being coached by, because a lot of these guys have 1 year left in terms of eligibility, or maybe 2. And it's really important to know who's going to be coaching you, and they don't really have those guys on campus. And then they're also in situations where, they have, a bird in the hand and they're going for two in the bush instead. So I don't know. It just feels a little disjointed right now, and there's still time left, and I'll give them credit for that. But right now, Rutgers Hall is not really inspiring me to kind of sing their praises, I'll say.
One thing I will say, Richie brought up Zamir Dawood, and I think the biggest thing with him is that he has those 2 years, and kind of compared him to the situation with Eric Rogers a couple of years ago. In order to get that proper development as a guy that kind of rotates in at times, things like that, I feel like you need to have some other more established guys ahead of him so that he isn't just completely thrown into the fire. Now, maybe he thrives if he's thrown into the fire, but I would not want to count on that. In order to get some of those developmental guys out of the portal with the multiple years of eligibility remaining, you also have to have that kind of established floor of production to be above them so that, again, they're not just completely thrown into the fire because, like you mentioned, I would really like Dawood as like a rotational guy, coming in, rotating in every now and then, as long as he's not, the main guy. And that would probably help his development as well, so you're not stunting it by putting him in a situation he's not ready for. So, yeah, I feel I like where they're going with some of the developmental pieces, those guys with multiple years of eligibility left. But you also have to get the high-end talent anyways to be above them so that you're not just simply putting a guy, throwing him out to the deep end and hoping he can swim.
Yeah, I mean, spot on. There's no other cornerbacks. And don't get me wrong. I've said this before. I said it on the boards before too, because people are like, do we really need corners? Because we have J.J. Conyers, we have Devontae Anderson. I'm like, those guys are really fucking good as high school recruits.
Yeah.
They're still high schoolers. Like, I don't want to throw high schoolers out to the wolves. Can you do it as a skill position like corner and wide receiver? You can, but you also don't want to because it's just way too risky to throw them out there and just say, fuck it, maybe he's good. Maybe we'll try it. We saw Avery Young year one. He stunk year one. Mind you, Chris Hash was whatever. You can throw that out the window. Even Max Melton had his issues year one. And he went on to be a second-round pick. Now, you can develop those guys into good players, but throwing them out to the Wolves just doesn't make sense to me, especially in a Big Ten conference that is a dog year in and year out. And the schedule's pretty hard next year, too. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a gauntlet next year for sure. Is there anybody that we haven't? Because I realize every day feels like a week in the transfer portal. Is there anything we haven't talked about other than obviously the Ty Morris commitment for today?
Ty Morris. Well, we could have talked about him, but he's not going to campus anymore. Richard Mosley, the Stonehill corner, who actually was kind of a decent fan of. I'm not going to say he was great, or not say he was harder, but pretty solid for Stonehill. Good size, 6'2", 180, 190-ish. Big, tall, lengthy corner, actually. And Roman Catholic High School, which is a high school that produces talent nonstop. But they are no longer going to host him. I know we posted it this morning when it first got confirmed, and then sounds like Rutgers is going to go in a different direction. They're going to find a different cornerback. Whatever. I do find his bio on Stonehill funny. If you guys are bored and want to read something, you go on there and it's why Stonehill? And he's like, they gave me scholarship. It's oh God, okay, fair enough. Hey,
I respect the honesty. I'm coming here to play football.
Yeah, I'm not coming here to play school. So,
all right, we're gonna end it there then. Don't want to waste you guys' time.
Couple tidbits, just throwing out the I don't know the name for it, but just random news that came out around the Rutgers community. Anthony Knox, I don't think we talked about. Dog?
A little bit.
Yeah, maybe we did. I don't remember. But this is, like you said, this all blends together now. I talked to a college coach the other day that told me it's like signing day times 10, but it's also going for 15 days straight. So it's absolutely insane because you're not only trying to manage your roster or add to your roster, you're trying to manage your roster too, because the minute we report there's an offensive lineman on campus, there's multiple offensive linemen texting the coaching staff and being like, whoa, wait, what the hell? I thought I was up. So it is crazy. It's madness. That's part of the reason why Taj White ended up leaving, went to Colorado. CJ Campbell went to Duke recently. John Stone, Temple, called that one from a mile away.
Sam Brown also Temple.
Interesting because he's not going to be RB1 there, I was told, which whatever. I mean, I don't think he's up to the challenge of an RB1 anymore, to be honest, with his knee injuries. But something else. What else happened? Oh, Damaso Munoz is leaving the coaching staff. Former DB/linebacker for Rutgers. He will be joining the Ottawa Blackjacks. I think that's what they are.
Red Blacks.
Red Blacks. That's what they are.
Yeah.
I want to say Red Hawks. I want to say Blackjacks, so that makes more sense to me. Played for them back in the CFL day. He's going to be their linebackers coach, so good for him. Go get some experience, and then if you do pretty good there, I'm sure that they can find a role for you in the future. Who else? There's something else that happened. That Michael Robinson II went to UMass, called that one from a mile away too. So Joe Harris-Simiak gets a D1 caliber player. I think that's really it, though. There's not a whole lot going on with the Rutgers world.
Basketball, so 2 basketball games. I mean,
Yeah.
see and probably hear. I'm at one of them. Again, the women's team's taking on Maryland. Lauren Swan is back. I don't know when we're going to put this up, but so the games might have already happened. But Dylan Grant listed as questionable against Illinois tonight on the men's side. He's had his fair share of struggles of late. He played just 17 minutes against Oregon on Monday. No field goals made, went 6-6 from the free throw line, only had 1 rebound. I want to say he sat for like a very long stretch in the second half. So I don't know what that could be, if anything. So we'll have to wait and see.
It's 22.5-point underdogs. Keep him out of this one. Just let him get healthy again at this point.
Yeah, I went on.
Go on.
I was going to say, I went on the Armchair Illini podcast with their site. Definitely check that out. By the way, I put it in the words in case you didn't see it. But I said there, I felt like this is just a really bad matchup for Rutgers. What Illinois is able to do with their size, their shooting. As long as they don't shoot themselves out of this game like they did last year, I should say, at Jersey Mike's Arena, I feel like Illinois should be able to win this game pretty easily with the makeup that they have of their roster.
Yeah, unlike Rutgers, they have a good European scout. They also own the Balkans. It's basically Illinois East at this point. Also, Darren Rizzi, former Rutgers special teams coach from 2002 to 2007, is getting an interview with the Giants. Now, as a Giants fan, no, I'm getting Harbaugh. As a Rutgers guy, it's like, all right, cool. Like, it's cool to see former Rutgers coaches succeed in the league. Quite a few of them now.
Yeah, no, it's always good to see Rutgers former assistants succeed. You got Tariq Ahmed interviewing for GM roles.
Huge.
You got Darren Rizzi interviewing for head coaching roles. You got Anthony Campanelli being talked about for head coaching roles. You got Jeff Hafley being talked about for head coaching roles.
I love that he bought into this.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, the Eastern European squat there on a Soviet bloc.
Wild stuff. College sports is something else now, let me tell you. And I'm sure the minute we post this and it goes public, there's going to be a DC hire. And if you want to learn more about that potential DC hire, check out the round table because we got the scoops of scoops right now.
But wait a second. I'm not a user. I'm not a signed up person on the round table. I hate paying full price for anything. Can you hook me up in any way?
I don't have enough money to pay for however much it costs usually. What do I do? Whatever can I do?
Well, you know what? You could save half the money, and it's half price right now for the year, and put that other half towards the RNIL fund. But for the first half, but the more important half that will get you more information and more scoops, sign up for the Night Report right now. It's 50% off. Check out the Roundtable Forum immediately. As soon as you do, you will see a bunch of tidbits from visits, from interests, from this and that in the transfer portal. Mike has reached out to just about every single agent in college football. I don't know how he does it. It's actually very impressive. We also
that's how.
We also have. Sorry to laugh.
That's okay.
Okay, we'll laugh.
Making light of my situation.
There
Laugh at my pain.
There we go. Maybe one of those agencies will just end up hiring you. That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be cool.
Mike Broadbent, the Night Report Agency. And here we go. We're on to something here, boys. But yeah, check out the Night Report right now. When you do sign up, I know a couple of new users were like kind of shocked when they first signed up and they don't know what to do, where to go. Click the forums tab at the top, click the Roundtable forum. There's other free forums about football and basketball and wrestling and everything else, but the Roundtable is going to have all the scoops and everything known to man there. Just send it. What? Oh, the women's basketball forum. Yeah, that I think Alec and
I thought you were going to say something else.
2 people post on. Anyway, The roundtable forum has everything and anything. The first thing you'll see right away is the DC scoop. Some really interesting information in there. Just posted another little tidbit in there today after talking to a college football player elsewhere that would probably know if his assistant coach was going to leave for Rutgers or not. So I would check it out. I highly advise you to look into it. And if you ever have a question about the boards, you can email us at tkronrivals@gmail.com. Message me on social media. My DMs are somewhat open. I think you're like by request, but I check them every day. So you'll be good to go. Any issues whatsoever, just hit me up and I'll help you out. But yeah, I mean, a bunch of new subscribers. So welcome to the shit show.
Welcome to the addiction that you're never gonna give up on. But that's all we've got for today. I'm sure we'll be back tomorrow with more news, because this is that time of year where things are, bullets are flying fast and furious. So stay tuned to the boards, because all this information was there several hours ago at least.
Days ago.
For me, days ago maybe, yeah. I want to thank our sponsor FanDuel once again. But for me, Alec, and Richie, this has been another edition of the Night Report podcast, signing off.